Okay, so quick movie review. I say quick movie review, but sometimes they're not quick, right? These videos. But I think this one will be quick because this is the movie Reagan, 2024 movie about Ronald Reagan, the 40th president of the United States. And well, I don't have too much to say. I didn't know much about him going forward. I remember hearing about the Iran Contra scandal, so it's cool to know like, oh, this happened under his presidency, wasn't? Because I always get them confused. The Richard Nixon guy and the Ronald Reagan guy. I always get them confused with each other. And what's cool with Ronald Reagan, is he was like formerly an actor. So I think that's always been a fun fact about him, right? That he was an actor. This guy, he's done acting before. He has a presence that goes beyond just being the president of the United States, is it? Well, what else is kind of cool with this? Oh man, what was I gonna say? I was thinking of something in my head, and it kind of escaped me just now. What I was thinking about. I was thinking of something. What was I thinking about? Oh yeah, well, I guess things I like about this movie. Things I like. I hate that you guys. So turn this off. This is actually the CD player inside this. I think that's what making that noise. Probably. Yeah, it's really annoying. I don't know. That screen thing is acting up. Something's wrong with it. And it's probably going to keep doing that annoying noise in the background, so sorry about that. But anyway, I like when they showed us the pictures at the end of the film, the little slide, and with the pictures that we get to see. His wife lived an entire decade after his passing. I thought that was impressive, that she lived that long, actually, after he died. Holy shit. I'm not sure the age, how far in age they were from each other, but I thought that was cool. That she lived a whole year, a whole decade, actually, a whole 10 years after his passing. And so that's cool. I thought that was cool. But what else is there to say about this film? I liked it. It was good. It was a nice film. It's very long, right? It's 2 hours and 15 minutes, and I guess you definitely feel the runtime of this movie. It is very long. This film. There was at one point, I guess I was awake for the presidency part, because there's I guess you can split it in half. There's the part of him. Well, we don't even get much backstory actually of him as a kid. We don't get much young Ronald Reagan backstory, but we do get the post-presidency backstory. We know that he had to deal with communist type kind of drama involving communism even before his presidency, in the form of when he was working as an actor, the whole what was it called again? I guess the group of actors, right? The union. There was a union of actors that were communists, and it's kind of cool that he worked under one of the Warner Brothers. Well, I guess the Warner brother, or one of the Warner Brothers, because it's I think it was Jack Warner. It was. I thought that was cool, right? He got up there to get the head honchos and within the acting industry in that time. I like when he has the wife, and the wife, he does his speech. He does his first initial speech, at least in the film that we can see, about being vigilant, and how us actors, we have a duty, a responsibility to remember that people may want to use our voices and our likeness for nefarious purposes. And this lady, she gets upset. She gets upset with him about it. And you can kind of get the vibe. Oh, maybe they get divorced afterwards. And I don't know if they got divorced directly after this, but I think it sets the tone of that marriage didn't last. That lady that you see here initially, that was his wife. Well, there's a reason she's not his wife anymore, right? He has kids. I looked it up. This guy has 5 kids, and then one of the girls died. They do mention this. One of the daughters did die, almost immediately after she was born, basically, right? And but they didn't mention he got a son. He's actually adopted. They have one adopted son, and I think Maurice, I think that's her name. She's dead too. Actually, I looked it up. She's dead. That was a daughter he had with the first wife, so she's dead. But then he's got children with Nancy. I think they're both in their 70s. They're both they're all both old now, right? I think a senior citizen status is in your maybe almost kind of mid 60s, early to mid 60s. So if you're in your 70s, then you're senior citizen status, right? And well, that's what he's got here in the form of his two surviving children, right? Their senior citizen status. And so I thought that was cool. A little nice little tidbit there about him. He has an adopted son. His adopted son is also still alive, by the way. But yeah, he's got an adopted son, and he's got two children, a son and a daughter, biological children, with his late wife, I guess, because Nancy's dead too, but she lived a whole decade after him, after the fact that he died, right? Which I thought was cool. And yeah, so that's kind of the whole thing with her, right? With them. I thought that was cool. So he got heirs to his throne, right? So to speak. They like that the Soviet Union collapses, and that guy, that he has the iconic birthmark on his head. I don't know if it's a birthmark, actually. Maybe it's something else type of mark. But that guy, that mark that he has on his head, I like that he goes to his funeral. He actually goes to his funeral because he was talking with him. And they're actually they show us three leaders of the Soviet Union beforehand. Three people that were leaders of the Soviet Union that died before they can even schedule talks. And they mention this in the film. They say that before Ronald Reagan, because he wasn't in a rush to meet these guys, to meet Soviet leaders, but people, I guess the presidents before him, however, they would always meet up with the Soviets. And so with Ronald Reagan, they mentioned that there was no rush. he didn't particularly have a rush to meet it with anybody. It was whatever. If they show up, they do, and I meet them, and if I don't, I don't. And so yeah, it's kind of funny actually, right? They mentioned this in the film as like a little joke, a gag. They keep dying on me. How am I gonna meet them? They keep dying on me. It had some moments like that in the film. There's some funny moments. The funniest joke was when because I guess apparently when he was governor, it was like the University of Berkeley, there was some protests going on. I think this was 1969. This would have been like the Vietnam War type era, right? And it kind of makes sense. Yeah, there's big protests going on in that moment. And with this whole fiasco, with all this drama going on, there's this kid that says, like, make love, not war. It's Ronald Reagan, and he's like a fat guy. And Ronald, he gets out of the car. So it's like a nice little one-liner, and that's what in the film it says, yeah, some things were changed. Or like, hey, we better make him say this because it's funny. Obviously, maybe he didn't say this shit, but it's funny to think that maybe he said that shit to this guy. And what he says to him is, that kid right now can do neither. And it's kind of like it's basically a fat joke, right? This kid's an overweight kid, and he said right now that kid can do neither of those things. Sounds like he can do neither of those things. Make love or have war. I like that they have this guy, John Barletta, I think it was, Barletta? That was the name. And he's like a Secret Service agent guy. Because Ronald Reagan, he likes to ride horses. That's a big thing with him. He has a ranch, and he actually lives out the rest of his days, like, I guess, on this ranch, surrounded by friends and family. It's a big part of his person, I guess. He loves the ranch, and he likes riding his horse. And the agent guy, because he's got Alzheimer's, and so obviously, at some point he can't do it. He even tells the wife, like, he wants the wife to say it because it's something that, she knows it's going to hurt him to know, like, I can't do this thing that I love anymore. That's going to hurt me. But he's telling the wife of Ronald Reagan, like, I think you should be the one to say. And she says, no, I can't tell him. It's going to hurt. I know it's going to hurt him. I don't want to see him hurt like that. So he tells him, And at first when I saw him, I was like, is that his son maybe? But why when I addressed the son, he wanted to say dad, right? He wanted to say his son as John. And then I remembered that scene in the airplane, and I was like, yeah, actually it makes sense. They did show us that scene in the airplane. They actually they named him, and the reason they named him because he wrote a memoir about his, I guess, last days, how it was to work with and basically see the decline of Ronald Reagan, essentially. But what was I thinking of? Yeah, they mentioned this in the film, right? It's that guy, he's a Secret Service agent. He actually knew how to ride horses, and that's why they say, hey, can we get you to do it? Because he likes to ride, and we need somebody that likes to do it, somebody that knows how to do it even. And then I like when they have this character's name is Donna. I think that's his name, actually, just Donna. He camps out on his, and we know he's going to be important because we got a close-up shot, right? That's how it's kind of the typical Hollywood type thing in the movies. They give a close-up of someone's face, we know that person's important. Maybe we're gonna see them later in the story. That's not always the case with one review that I did of some movie I remember. And I just thought of it right now. I just remembered this right now. There was a film, actually. It was the Bob Marley movie where we had that lady that maybe I thought she would have had a bigger role, but she didn't. But, you know, they did that thing in the movies where they show us the face. And we see Donna. He camps out in the yard. And Reagan. And the wife tells him, like, Reagan, he's going to probably pay you respect, actually. He's not going to give you 5 minutes. He's going to give you a whole hour. If you want to talk to him, he's going to give you a whole hour. So you can talk to him, tell him what the spiel is, what your ideas or whatever. And we know, I mean, I guess that's this something to this effect did happen because we see Donna later in the film. And this film was based on true events. So I guess this is true. Like this, he really had this kid that he met down in California and Berkeley come out to Washington to work with him to help him write speeches. And I guess maybe Donna had an influential moment in writing, like, you need to tell Gorbachev this stuff. Because, like, I think it was oh my God, maybe it was, I mean, it might have been 2 years, actually. I don't think it wasn't that recent. I don't think it was 2 days. I think it was 2 years after the Berlin Wall came down. I want to say, I don't really know. So, take this with a grain of salt. Maybe it was 2 days. I know it was it wasn't too long after the Berlin Wall came down that the Soviet Union collapsed, right? And what we have today, the Russian Republic, the country that we have today, formed, basically, right? And so that was a cool tidbit I found in the film with that, and that this guy, Donna, and along with some other dudes in this room, or perhaps they had an influential moment to, like, you know, say, hey, you need to say, here's some things we have written for you to say. You really should say them, and you should demand this guy do something about that and get rid of this wall and whatnot. I thought that was cool. I also like, and I just had it on the tip of my head, it kind of disappeared. Maybe I can get it back because it also was a nice little, oh yeah, I don't even remember. We open up with his assassination attempt, and when I looked at it, apparently this young man was a young man, 25 years of age, that he wanted to impress some actress, so that's why he tried to kill him. So I guess it maybe wasn't politically motivated. It was kind of just kind of youth being dumb in some sort of sense like that. It's not like the one that we have now, right, with Donald Trump. That I think that one was probably politically motivated, no doubt. But this guy, if that's believed to be true, he wants to impress some actress. Wow, way to go to figure, right? I just got killed because you wanted to impress an actress, bruh. Like, seriously. Oh my gosh. And I just had on the tip of my head what I wanted to mention something. I just had on the tip of my head and I can't remember it right now. But yeah, Ronald Reagan, the movie, whatever it is, it's not important. All you gotta know, it's not a bad movie. It's an alright movie. I did fall asleep during the initial beginning of it. And I think that was maybe because I've ate something before I came to the theater, and the whole environment of being in a dark space. I guess maybe that's an ode to it being sort of boring. The crowd was definitely older for this film. It's a film that probably appears more to older audiences. I think it's probably people that were younger when Ronald Reagan was president, right? Something to that effect. I think that's also probably a big part of it. But yeah, it's not a bad movie. I enjoyed it. It's I guess this is a good, I didn't get any political sort of, I guess that's the big question. Does this feel political or preachy? It didn't feel particularly preachy or political to me, like it was pushing any sort of agenda. For me, the film felt like it's just retelling one of the president's life and how he came to prominence, and why is he, out of all the presidents, why is he one of the more memorable ones? Why did he have more of an impact than other presidents, right? That's a really big one. Because I can't name all the presidents off the top of my head. But the ones we can name they're the ones that actually, they have something significant tied to them. They did something that was particularly of importance, right? Yeah, that's all I really got to say about it. Yeah, it's an alright film. It's, I would say maybe take it out for streaming, though. And this is like a film, this is not like a casual watch film, I feel. I mean, this is I guess it could be, but I guess this film, it's, like a fun night out watching a movie. No, this is not the film for that. I guess maybe that's it's a nostalgia film at heart, is it? But yeah, I did enjoy it, and check it out if you want, I guess. Thank you for listening.